Hello friends! I'm going to demonstrate how to do a draw and tell story, and this one I made up to go along with Goodnight Gorilla. And this is a little bit trickier than the cut and tell story, but as you can see, I have a blank sheet of paper, but you can't really see it from back there or where the kids will sit. But I do have a little cheat sheet underneath, so when I go to push on the paper, it will actually show me what I'm supposed to draw. So it makes it easy. You could also do like a little pencil, but the kids that are sitting close might be able to see that. So you can always go like this and draw it, and then show the kids, or you can draw like this as they're watching you. You could do it either way. So here is Goodnight Gorilla. So one night, Zookeeper Joe, he was walking off around the zoo, and he went to turn off the lights and put all the animals to bed. So he went, I'm going to turn off the lights. He went over to Gorilla's orange cage, and Gorilla was really, really sneaky. He took the keys right off of Zookeeper Joe's belt. So Gorilla unlocked the cage, and he got out, and he tiptoed right behind Zookeeper Joe. So then they went over to Elephant's pink cage, and they said, "Good night, Elephant." And Gorilla unlocked the door, and now Elephant is behind Gorilla, who is behind Zookeeper Joe. And they walk around, they tiptoe quietly, they go over to Lion's cage, and they put Lion. Zookeeper Joe says, "Good night, Lion," and Gorilla unlocks Lion's blue cage. So now we have Lion and Elephant and Gorilla behind Zookeeper Joe, quietly tiptoeing. So Zookeeper Joe goes over to the green cage, and he says, "Good night, Giraffe." Meanwhile, Gorilla goes over, he unlocks Giraffe's green door, and he lets Giraffe out. So now we have Giraffe and Lion and Elephant and Gorilla behind Zookeeper Joe. So Zookeeper Joe goes over to Hyena's yellow cage, and he says, "Good night, Hyena." So Gorilla goes over to Hyena, he unlocks the yellow cage's door. So now we have Hyena and Giraffe and Lion and Elephant and Gorilla tiptoeing quietly behind Zookeeper Joe. So then they go to one last cage. You might know which cage they go to, right? Yeah. Armadillo's cage. They go to Armadillo's purple cage. And Zookeeper Joe says, "Good night, Armadillo." And Gorilla goes over, he unlocks Armadillo's purple cage door. So now we have Armadillo, we have Hyena, Giraffe, Lion, Elephant, and Gorilla tiptoeing quietly behind Zookeeper Joe. So they go over, Zookeeper Joe makes sure that the whole zoo is quiet and nobody's walking around. So Gorilla needs a little rest stop, so he goes and he uses the potty. And then he has got to wash his hands, right? Alright, so he washes his hands and he sings the ABC song. Do you think you can sing the ABC song? I'm going to draw a nice big line while we sing the ABC song together. You ready? Okay. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z. Now I know my ABCs. Next time won't you sing with me? Great job. But now Gorilla has to dry his hands, right? So he's going to sing "Row, row, row your boat." You ready? Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. Nice job. So then Zookeeper Joe has to make sure that the cafeteria is empty, right? So Zookeeper Joe goes, he inspects the cafeteria, and it's empty. But Gorilla makes a little turn, and he grabs a banana for a bedtime snack. So then Zookeeper Joe has to make sure that the gift shop is also empty. So guess what Gorilla does? He makes a little pit stop. He grabs a t-shirt to wear to bed. So Zookeeper Joe has to make sure that everything is ready. So I think we're ready, right? We went all over the zoo. Everything is great. So Zookeeper Joe decides it's time to go home. So he goes home, but he has to get ready for bed, right? So he has to brush his teeth. So he brushes up and down. So he turns off the light and he says goodnight. Guess who else says goodnight? You guessed it. Gorilla says goodnight. Elephant says goodnight. Lion says goodnight. Giraffe says goodnight. Hyena says goodnight. And Armadillo says goodnight. And Mrs. Zookeeper, her name is Peggy, she turns on the light and she gets all the animals out of the house. So she makes sure they go back to bed. So they go back to the purple cage. They put Armadillo to bed. They go back to the yellow cage. They put Hyena to bed. They go back to the green cage. They put Giraffe to bed. They go back to the blue cage. They put Lion to bed. They go back to the pink cage. They put Elephant back to bed. And they go back to the orange cage. And they put Gorilla back to bed. And you know what Gorilla says? So that was my take on Goodnight Gorilla as a draw and tell story.